Hi, Kabarza here. In this video, we are going to explore Flexbox in Webflow. I'm going to show you everything from this all the way to these. We are using the Flex game, the official game from Webflow. So please consider this like a spoiler alert. If you haven't played the game, please give it a try. The link is below. It's a lot of fun. And if you got stuck, you can come back to this video because we are going to go from very simple layouts all the way to very crazy ones. All right, with that being said, let's get started. So here we have the Flexbox game, and if you don't know what Flexbox means, don't worry, because I'm going to explain it briefly here. Using Flexbox, we are essentially moving elements around. We are creating layouts. It's a CSS property that allows us to add some stylings to the parent element. Using that, we control the children inside of it. So in this instance, we have this blue rectangle. Inside of it, we have this green circle that we have to move inside of this outline. To do that, we are not going to change the styling of this circle itself, but we are actually going to add some styling to the parent element. Set it as a flex, which is set by default here. And all we have to do is to change the alignment of the children on that element. So here we use this 9 dot thing, click where we want the element to go, we click it, it goes there. It will make sense as we progress. The second level, very similar. Now we have two elements. We click where we want the elements to go, also very simple. The next one introduces a new thing. So if we just click at the center, on the top center, you see the elements don't go where we want them to go. Here, we want the elements to have some space between them. What we can do here is we can double click, but if we double click, we get too much space. If we look at here, we see it's space between. So the entire space is added between the elements, but we have another option that is spaced around, which is going to divide the space between them and also around them. All right, number 5 is a very fun one. This used to be done by multiple clicks, but now we can do it in just one click. I think this is just great. Level 7, we are going to learn something new. We have been using the horizontal option, but we also have it vertical. So we can set it to vertical. And now the children's inside of this parent element are sitting in a vertical manner. And level 9 is going to introduce again another concept, which is reverse direction. We can change the direction of these elements without the need to change their placement in the HTML hierarchy. It means we don't have to move the elements here to change their direction. We can use styling to do that. So how we do that? Here in the options, we actually have this right to left single row. If we read all the way at the bottom, it says row reverse. It's a reverse option. It reverses the elements, as simple as that. Number 10, it's very similar, but the reverse is going to be from the bottom to top and then in this corner. The next one is also very similar. We are going to have a reverse option, single row, but we are going to add them to the bottom. And now level 13, we will learn again a new concept, which is wrap children. What happens when the children don't have enough space in a row? We use this actually in real life all the time. You can imagine having like blog post cards that don't fit in the same row together. We want to allow them to go to the next row. For that, we have this option, which allows the elements just to wrap to the next line when there is not enough space. Number 14 is essentially the same, but just it has a new alignment option here. So here you see more alignment options. This is not very descriptive by Webflow, because here we have align and here we have more alignment options. These are for the kind of like the wrapped elements, and this is when not considered wrapped. At least that's my understanding. Anyway, you play with them, you'll figure it out. It's not that difficult. Here we have the same settings. You see here just a different alignment. This alignment is for the space between them, but this one is for the space between the wrapped elements, if it makes sense. So here, number 16, the same story, but it's not a normal wrap, because if we do a normal wrap, you see they don't exactly fit. We have other types of wraps. In this case, we're going to use a top to bottom wrap, and I'll tell you why. So you see we have green, orange, purple. We want that direction. If we use the previous option, we don't have that. So we don't have that order. That's why we are going to use this one. And of course, we need to align them to the center so they all go to their correct positions. Again, a new concept. I didn't tell you about one small detail. In Flex, we don't align items only by, controlling the parent element. We have some control over the children as well. So this depends on the parent settings, but in this case, we can click on the green one, and you see we have the alignment option that we can change. We can align it to the bottom. So this element is kind of like has its own settings. All right, we will use that quite a lot more. You'll see. Getting a bit more difficult. It says we need reverse direction and alignment changes on the Flex children. So the reverse direction, let's do a reverse. We're going to do this. The single row is, as it's seen also visually, is reversed. And now we want to align everything to the center. I'm double clicking so there is space between them. And now obviously we are going to click on the children as before and just align them accordingly. Next one, we're going to learn again another children setting. So we can click on the child, and we don't have just alignment, we have also some sizing control. We can allow items inside of a Flexbox to grow if there is space for them. We also have these two other options. The by default one is shrink if needed. This is why elements that were not wrapped, they were crammed together because it's set to shrink if needed. And there is another option that says don't shrink or grow. This is very useful if you have some cards in a design where you don't want their size to change or to be affected by their Flex parent. So sometimes you need to make sure the children keep their size despite what the Flex parent says. Sometimes we need the Flex parent only for alignment or some types of placement, but we don't want the Flex parent to affect the size of the children. This is where you do it. All right, the next one, the same story. The orange one has a lot of space to grow, so we allow it to grow. It fills the space. Here, we are going to learn like a little bit of a new concept. It's not crazy. It's also giving us the hint. The green one, we can set it to be 200 pixels width, and then the orange one, you know the drill, it's going to grow if possible. All right, now again another child control, and that's kind of the last one. We have three types of children control. We talked about the alignment, we talked about the sizing, but we also have the order. So we can actually click on this green one, and we can say we want it to be first. It comes to the first place. And again, this is super helpful because with these settings, we don't have to change the order of our HTML elements, which is like a story in itself. It's very important that we keep the document in an order that makes sense in a context and in a more like a content type of way. The order of the elements here is more like a style that can be whatever, but then the context of the entire site is how it should be. Next one is again playing with the order. So we want to put this purple one at the end, so we say that's last, and the green one is going to be first. So pretty simple. We are going to set the order. That's what I typically like to do first. So we set the order to be first. Now we have a better view. Okay, We want to make sure that this takes the entire space, but we can't say grow if possible, because we can say it, but if we say it's going just to push elements this much, it's not going to push them all the way to the next line. Why? Because there is no need for them to go to the next line. They share whatever they have. But we need to push these to the next line. How do we do that? We can take this purple one and set the width to 100%, but we can't because we are controlling it from here. So I'm going to remove that style. And here we are going to say, instead of 100 pixels, we say 100%. So it's taking the entire space, but not exactly, because these are not going to the next line. How do we do that? We go to the parent and we say wrap. We wrap them, and now we only need to change the alignment of the wrapped options. All right, number 25. This is where it gets actually difficult. And when I looked at this initially, I thought this is a vertical one, but it's not a vertical settings, and we'll see how it's going to be. Again, we're going to start with the order first. So this purple one is going to be the first one. Now it's solved. Now we want to make sure that this green one takes this entire space. How do we do that? We learned from the previous one that it's going to be 100%. It's 100% width of its parent, right? How can we make sure that it has place? We again take the parent element, and now we allow the children to wrap. And this is where I want to start talk about these zigzags. You see, it makes sense that the purple one starts at here, and then the green one goes to the next line, because we wanted to take the entire space. So it takes the entire space when we allow it to wrap, right? So it takes the entire space, and then the other elements follow after. This is kind of like top to bottom, but like top, right, and then bottom. That's how we do it. And then here, all we have to do is to play with this alignment. And with these, we can actually allow the sizing to grow if possible, and they take the remaining space. All right, here we are at number 28, the final boss. It has a pretty dirty trick up its sleeves. Let's look at the order of the orange ones first. We have number 1, 4, and 5, but the circles here are 5, 4, 1, the reverse direction. So we need to reverse basically everything. And if we are going to reverse everything, we are going to also need to reverse order these, like the green one and the purple one. So normally we would say we want this to be first, but in this case, we are actually going to do last, because we are going to reverse everything. And this one, we're going to say first, and now we are going to reverse the entire thing. How do we do that? Let's look at the arrows. Which one makes the most sense to have this green one at the very bottom and take the entire space? As you see, this wrap up makes sense. This is where the green sits, and then the rest will follow. And then we have the purple one, which we can align to the top. Let's do it. And now the green one, let's give it 100% width. It's pushing the rest up. And now the purple one, let's change the size so it can grow. And again, the same thing. If we align it to top, nothing happens because it's a reverse order. So we are going to align it to the bottom. Everything is in reverse.
Reverse is kind of hell.
And with that, let me tell you that anything that comes after level 26 or level 26 itself is not going to be used in real world projects. If you have a project using this level of control and Flexbox, I really want to see your project. This is not realistic. Anything before that could be used. 25, probably not, but 24, we actually use it, but they're pretty fun. And using them, you can understand the direction, you can understand the wrapping, and especially the reverse. All right, so I highly recommend playing it. All right, so here is the last note for you and potentially for Webflow to improve things a little bit. You see, when we click on these elements, these more alignment options are dynamic, meaning that depending on the settings they have here, the icons change. They reflect the settings here. But if we click on the children, the align options are static. They are always the same regardless of what their parent is. So this is a bit inconsistent, and it confuses me. This doesn't, because now I know where the end is. So I think it should be the same for the children as well. But if you are just learning it now, you know that this one is dynamic, the other one is not. You may need just to consider this. And at the very end, I think this is great. I've been using it. I've got used to it. It's amazing. A lot of things that we can do with a click or a double click. This menu, I think now it makes sense, especially if you just imagine the arrow for a second. I think it actually makes sense. And if you're coming from a programming background, you see all the options below, and they are basically the way the CSS syntax. So I think this is also good. The X and Y, it gives us a bit more options. But most of what we can do here, we can also do it here. It's just a few more options. This gap slider, this is never gonna be okay. And this more alignment options, this title, Webflow, please change that or add some more description to it when I hover on it, because rows align X, Y, the combination all together is a bit messy. It could be better. But again, in real world scenarios, I think it's mostly fine, because 90% of the time we use this or these, and just what you see here is what you use most of the time. All right, this was it. Please tell me in the comments below, how far did you get in the Flex game? If you are still struggling with the zigzags, I highly recommend playing the game, because it really has helped me understand all the wrapping and the new reverse icons much better. Thank you for watching. Until the next one, peace.